Queen had severe doubts over Kate's suitability for William, grave concerns. The Queen had grave concerns about Kate Middleton before her engagement to Prince William, according to a book. During the 2014 Scottish independence referendum campaign, the nationalists always maintained that the Queen would still be Queen of Scots if the country voted yes. They argued the referendum concerned the 1707 Union of the Nations, as opposed to the 1603 Union of the Crowns. Such claims were confirmed again by UCL Professor of Government and the Constitution Robert Hazel, who told Express.co.uk, in their 2014 Independence White Paper, the SNP declared that an independent Scotland would continue to be a monarchy. So if Scotland became independent, the Queen would continue to be the Queen of Scotland, just as she is the Queen of Australia, Canada, New Zealand and a dozen other realms where she is the head of state. However, even if in the short term Scotland's draft constitution would keep the Queen as Queen of Scotland, there could well be another referendum on the subject in the future. Moreover, a few adjustments would apparently need to be made in case of independence. A constitutional expert claimed the Queen would need to establish the role of a Governor-General in Edinburgh to act on her behalf if Scotland votes to leave the UK. Vernon Bogdanor, Professor of Government at King's College, London, told The Guardian in 2014, the Queen couldn't have two conflicting sources of advice from two different governments. There would have to be a Governor-General. It's perfectly workable. The Irish Free State had one. Mr. Bogdanor said the Queen's grandfather King George V appointed a Governor-General for the Irish Free State in 1922, while he remained Ireland's head of state. The actions of Governor-Generals have, in the past, proved controversial, though. In extreme circumstances, Governor-Generals have reserve powers to act without ministerial advice to appoint a Prime Minister if an election has resulted in a hung Parliament, dismiss a Prime Minister, force a dissolution of Parliament and call new elections, refuse a Prime Minister's request for an election and refuse assent to legislation. In 1975, Australia's former Governor-General, Sir John Kerr, dismissed the Australian Prime Minister Gough Whitlam, whose government had been afflicted by resignations and faced the blocking of its budget by the upper house of Parliament. Sir John also appointed the leader of the opposition as caretaker Prime Minister in his place. Professor Stephen Haysler, director of the Global Policy Institute in London, added, "The Governor-General was meant to be above politics, but in 1975 he got involved in politics. They never got over that. I don't think it will happen again. Mr. Haisler also said the prospect of a Governor-General depended on whether the Scottish Parliament wanted to be a member of the Commonwealth, adding, I would think that the Scots would not want a Commonwealth relationship with Britain. SNP MP for Glasgow North Patrick Grady did not rule out axing the Queen as Scotland's sovereign during a talk at King's College London in 2019. A member of the audience asked Mr. Grady, shouldn't Scottish independence start with a request for the abolition of the monarchy just like the Italians have done? The SNP MP answered, the proposition in 2014 was that Scotland would retain the Queen as head of state. In the same way she is Queen of Canada and Australia. There is a symbolic Commonwealth model of monarchy but no executive authority as it is just a ceremonial role. Of course the United Kingdom exercises sovereignty power through the Crown. The Queen comes to Parliament for the state opening because she graciously summons Parliament. But I think the model Scotland would adopt if it were independent would be different from that. Even if we retain a monarch as a symbol of unity. Mr. Grady added, of course it would be for the people of Scotland to decide this eventually. They should decide whether Scotland should be a republic or a constitutional monarchy. But it is a question people should answer after gaining independence. If the Scots decided to become a republic in the future, it would mean a huge loss for the Queen, as her links with the country are not only constitutional but also personal. Balmoral Castle in Aberdeenshire is one of the royal family's most famous residences, bought for Queen Victoria by Prince Albert. The Queen spends a week every year at Holyrood Palace in Edinburgh, the official residence of the British monarch in Scotland. Prince Charles went to boarding school in Scotland and is often seen sporting a kilt. The royal family also has Scottish titles. Prince Charles carries the title Duke of Rothesay, while the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge are referred to as the Earl and Countess of Strathearn.